You're muted.
You're muted,
hear
Devin. Okay, come to the rest of us, Leo. Welcome to the Fumble, everyone. This is the Fumble Squad. Chris, what's your name?
It's your boy Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Jackie Ray. You can follow me everywhere at JRay the Fanatic.
And it's your girl, Britt Johnson. You guys can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson. Chris, since your girl isn't here, what day is today? I don't want you to miss out.
Hump day! I was actually going to do a voiceover, but I appreciate that alley-oop there, Britt Johnson. I appreciate that.
I got
Can
you.
we check my audio really quick?
Hey!
Oh, good.
There
She is back.
Okay,
she is.
that was weird because I wasn't muted on my end, so something just didn't quite connect there.
The
But I see
Illuminati's
we already.
back.
Yeah, there they go, man. There they go.
The Illuminati is back.
Okay, so you already did our little Wednesday tradition, Chris, so I'm off the hook for that. But as you guys all know, I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @Devin Howard. I'm so glad that I have my voice back. So let's jump into the news here. We're starting off with, thanks, Leo, for putting my little name handle there. I still got my moment. Okay, so let's start off with a little bit of shade that was thrown last night. So most Spates pushed the envelope a little bit too far by posting a meme that trolled LeBron's finals record while praising Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. So in his meme that he posted, it says, "Back when we used to celebrate three-peats, now kids are out there celebrating 4 titles in 10 tries and call it greatness." And then he followed that up by posting another tweet that says, quote, "No shots to Bron. He is one of the best players to ever touch the court. I respect the game and the great players." But to me, that seems like a direct contradiction to the meme he shared, because he's obviously trying to take shots at LeBron with that meme. It mocked people for calling LeBron's finals record greatness. So I was thinking that maybe he's still just a little bit salty over LeBron dominating the Warriors in the 2016 finals. I'm not really sure. Lakers fans and LeBron stans obviously came out in full force, and they let Mo know that his meme was ridiculous. There were a lot of tweets happening. It caused him to go private for a period of time. He was back this morning and just kind of like going back and forth with some people about it. But a lot of people were throwing jabs at him for being an average player during his career, but having the audacity to shade someone during their high moment. And of course, with these GOAT conversations and all of that, nobody's ever going to agree. There's never going to be one single GOAT. But I do think it was a little too petty to come at LeBron when he's just celebrating an exciting moment. Like, no matter how you feel about him, like, just stop. Like, what's the point with the shade? At least that's how I feel. And Jackie, I'm sure you agree with me. So I want to know, as the president and queen of the Bronsexual Club.
Thank you. I appreciate that title. I always think it's funny that a guy that most people have to Google to find out who he is ever has anything to say. You know what I mean? He's not a well-known guy. Like you said, he did struggle, and it's just petty. Like even I'm not a KD fan by any stretch of the imagination, but if somehow KD wins a championship, I'm not going to go out of my way to shade that moment, because regardless, it is very hard to make it to the championships. It's just very hard. There's people who are going to go their entire career and never have that moment. Not even just getting the ring, getting in that moment of actually being in the finals and having an opportunity to bring home a ring. It is a very hard thing to do. It's very hard to win 4 of them. Three-peat is even harder. There's been, Kobe and Shaq were the last ones to do it. So it's a very hard thing to do, and it's not something that you shade when you're somebody, like I said, that people have to Google to find out who you are. So this is a say less moment for me.
Okay. And Britt, do you agree with what the meme said, that celebrating 4 out of 10 is dumb?
I don't think it's dumb. I think, like Jackie said, anybody that wins anything is great. Like, I wouldn't take, I know, who is it? Robert Horry has like 6 championships. Yes, he wasn't the star of all of those championships or any of them, but he was clutch and he did what he had to do in order to win those rings. So I don't think we should bash him for that. Same with John Sally, who has 5, I believe. But there's like so many athletes that have, had moments where they've been able to win a lot of championships, and they should get to enjoy those moments, and I did do that on Britt's Take. I talked about the fact that people were getting on LeBron for this being his 10th one, and if he were to lose it kind of situation. And I was like, it's good that he's won as many as he's won, you know, like I think that's a feat in and of itself. So I think it's, I mean, this was a very Kanye West moment for Mo. Just like, I'm gonna let you finish, but let me talk about Beyonce real quick kind of thing. And so I just felt like it was like, just to say it, like, who asked you? Like, nobody asked you anything. Like, why are you even talking about it? So that's, I mean, and yes, he is right. Like, to win a three-peat is unheard of now. We haven't heard of it in a long time. And it is very hard, but we, I mean, can still congratulate people for what they have done at this moment. We don't need to. And like me and Chris have talked about after Kobe dying, like, we're so sick of like comparing, you know, and everybody has their own GOAT, and that's who their GOAT is, and it is what it is. Like, so yeah, if I want to do the argument when I'm talking about Michael Jordan, yes, I could use that. If somebody else wants to be like, well, he didn't play this time of whatever, Jackie could use that argument. It's everybody has their own argument. None of them are necessarily wrong. It's just who you want as your GOAT. You're going to go with what you want to say in that moment.
Right. And then I also feel like if you're going to be Mo and you're going to post a meme that very obviously shades LeBron, don't walk back on it a minute later and be like, no shots at Bron. Like, if that's how you feel, it's ridiculous, but stand by it. You know, that's, I think, what was really frustrating about it. Yeah, and don't go private. Exactly.
Take that heat, man. If you're going to put it out there, take that heat.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Chris, now I want to go to you for the final question. Should an average player, like Jackie said, say less when it comes to criticizing a champion?
I don't care if they's average or whatnot, but my problem with it was what you just said at the end. Is like, don't backtrack. You know, say how you feel, take the clowning, take whatever it is. You played in the NBA, you have your opinion, but don't have an opinion and then pretend to not have that same opinion. That was my only beef with it. I don't care though if you are a no or a so-so player, or if you're the best player ever. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, especially if you've been in the game. And for somebody like you mentioned who lost to LeBron James, so go ahead and be salty, but be salty and not try to backtrack so you're in LeBron James' good graces, hoping that he'll bring you to be on one of his teams, because it's not going to happen. So just say it with your chest. Just say it with your chest and stand by it.
He needs to bring on a team, and I'm still waiting on Carmelo. Guy.
Man, you and me both, Britt Johnson. You and me both.
Okay, you guys, let's move on to some football news. Le'Veon Bell is now a free agent after the New York Jets released him last night. This move isn't a huge surprise because he obviously wanted out and the team was trying to trade him, but with the amount of money that he was owed, a trade wasn't likely to happen. This could end up being good for him because he'll be able to pick his own team and play for a winner if he decides to make those kinds of moves. So he reacted on Twitter by posting a picture of himself. He said, "Got a lot to prove. I'm ready to go." So, Britt, where do you think he should go?
So, obviously we have a lot of teams that have a lot of injuries right now. I just immediately look at like the running back position, because I did see the list of like the article that like our producer sent us, and I don't think he should go to any of those teams. I know they mentioned like the 49ers and the Steelers, which definitely, we all know what happened when he was in Pittsburgh. Like, that's not going to happen. But I think that he personally should go to the Giants or to the Panthers. I think more particularly the Panthers. I think the Panthers are actually a good spot for him to go just because of what's happening right. I know you NFC South people don't agree with that because the Panthers are 3-2 right now, so they're your biggest competition. And then to add Le'Veon Bell in there, I think that might not be good for you guys, obviously, but I think that is probably a good place for him to go. I think he's like a similar. He doesn't obviously provide the same receiving yards that Christian McCaffrey would, but I think as far as like pounding the pavement, he's pretty similar to him in that aspect. So I would say probably the Panthers in this situation, or the Giants, who literally have lost everybody that they could possibly have lost this season. Huh?
Yeah, anywhere.
Go to the Jets or the Giants. That's a sad story. Poor guy. He didn't deserve that.
Stay in his same.
That's true too. You're right. That's very true.
So, Chris, then what team do you think could use him the most?
Could use him the most? I'm gonna be completely biased here because I truly think the New Orleans Saints would be a great spot for him, because the Saints have not been the same from the rushing standpoint since we lost oh my gosh, Mark Ingram, because we had that two-headed attack. And I feel like a combination of him and Alvin Kamara could be the exact same thing. We can let him dance and do what he has to do, and we keep Kamara doing what he does on the outside runs and on the screen passes. So I feel like a combination of them two would be great. And also, compared to putting him on the Giants, Britt, he has a chance to possibly win something. What you're saying as far as fit, I completely agree with you. I hear you on that. But Le'Veon needs to start winning. Like, after going from the Steelers and then going to the Jets for a few seasons, he needs to go to a winning team. But taking the bye, that's my personal opinion. Saints, I feel like that. But then take my hat off. I think, obviously, the place that, a lot of people are tying him to that I don't necessarily agree with, but I could kind of see it because they're having their injury problems, is pairing him up with Cam Newton in New England. Because Sony Michel, they want him to be their number one, but he's having his injury problem, and he hasn't really had the greatest season. And they have like 5 running backs all trying to do one running back's job. I think it would be nice to put him up with with Cam Newton. I think that they would help each other out, even though I don't want to help the Patriots out.
I do that.
Right.
I like the unbiased. I like the biased answer and then the unbiased answer right after, Chris. I like you covered your bases there. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him, though. So, Jackie, how do you feel about this news, and what do you think this means for Le'Veon?
My concern is always right. Yeah,
he was sad when his buddy left him when Jamal Adams left.
Yeah.
Right. But getting out of that organization to me is a good thing. I always, just always am cautious because, I think the last thing Mike Tomlin said about him was like, we want players, not hostages or something like that. And then, I know what's going on over there as far as I think he just liked a couple of tweets. I don't think he actually even tweeted about his playing time. He just liked a couple of tweets. And then, of course, the head coach over there, got pissed off about that. But that guy should have been gone. So I think this speaks more to the Jets are as an organization versus who Le'Veon Bell is a player. And so I think that in this particular case is going to be okay. Because, a lot of times when guys start going from team to team to team, the easy thing to assume is that they're the problem and the team is not the problem. But I think he got lucky and ended up with the New York Jets because we know that the New York Jets have been a problem since their conception. So I think we won't necessarily ding him for this one, but I'm with Chris. Like, I feel like, having that 2 running back threat would definitely be beneficial to us. And he definitely is going to want playing time. So he needs to go somewhere where they not only have room to utilize him, but they have a coach who has the offensive mind to utilize him. So I think that this is a win in his column. So I'm excited to see where he ends up. I don't know where he'll end up, but I wouldn't be mad if he was a part of Who Dat Nation.
So all right, like he might end up in the NFC South is basically what the consensus.
What we're all saying, that's very true. And no one said the Buccaneers, so I have no problems with it. That's fine.
Right.
Well, I did actually see lots of videos and analyses. That's a hard word to say, like in the plural, but the Buccaneers were named a lot. I saw the Browns also named in some conversations. You guys have any thoughts about those?
No, I don't think he would end up in either place. It just doesn't even. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. And what the Browns are doing right now is working, and I don't think he change that at all. What the Bucs are doing, I just don't think he makes sense there. They already have 3 semi-decent running backs that are trying to do something down there. So him going down there doesn't even make sense. Like where would that room come from? Like they already are paying guys that aren't really doing much a ton of money. They don't really have the option to get a Le'Veon Bell. But I mean, Le'Veon Bell is going to be good for some time because he is guaranteed, I believe, $15 million of that contract that he signed, which is 15. I think the dead space for the Jets is $19 million that they just randomly have lost this year because of having Le'Veon Bell just these first 5 weeks of the season. So they took a huge L on this one, but good for Le'Veon because he's going to be collecting a check regardless.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very true. Chris, just because your face was speaking so loudly, I do just want to hear quickly your thoughts about those 2 teams that I just mentioned before we move on into the post-up.
Britt said it better than I would have ever said it because mine would have been a lot more because she's right. Everything she says is exactly how I felt. Like, it makes no sense. The Browns have the perfect situation. Everything I was just talking about with the Saints, the Browns have that in Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. I know Nick Chubb's hurt for a little bit, but they have a good situation there where it would make no sense sense to put Le'Veon Bell in there. And yeah, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they have 2 solid starting caliber running backs. The third one that's showing his head to show that he's going to be something else. So we'll have 4 of them and then have even more issues chemistry-wise with the Buccaneers. Personally, I'm cool with that, but I like Le'Veon Bell, so I don't want to put him in that. So yeah, I just feel like putting him on those 2 teams, that would make no sense to me. I did see Kurt in the chat, though. He did say the Seahawks. That was one I wasn't thinking about. Yeah. I know they got Chris Carson.
Rejoin Jamal Adams.
And then, right, and he just following them around the league. Why not?
And then you left, and then you now take me where you are.
Right. Also saying the Texans, and who else do I see? The Chargers and the Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Chargers, I could see as a maybe.
Yeah, they don't really have a solid running back.
Over there, so I could definitely see that as a solid maybe.
I'd be okay with that, but you guys keep letting us know what you.
We had such crickets. I was like, who else is in charge? Oh yeah, Devin. Totally forgot, girl.
Represent. Okay, but you guys, on that note, Chris, can you take us into the post up?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for post up with your boy Chris, quarantine edition, and we're starting off back in the James household the same way we started off yesterday. But this video was hilarious because, as usual and as you'd expect, the star of the show, once LeBron James is back home, is not LeBron James. It is Zuri James herself, because he got home and he got to see her birthday present in person, and she was gifted her own replica house in the backyard, and LeBron James took a tour with Zuri. And the back and forth, and Zuri, it's just great. So watch this video.
So this is outside the house. And then this little girl has the nerve to have her own house. Are you doing school?
She like, yeah.
Are you doing school from your crib? How your house look just like the big house, though? It looks like
this
what?
Is nicer than my place.
Her whole little place. In fact,
you got a little break from school right now? That's hilarious.
You see the inside. Watch the inside. Watch the inside. And watch how she treat her daddy. Watch this.
Can I sit down on your couch? Appreciate it.
Get a cute couch.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. You just gonna walk around my floor like, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are?
Like me, no shoes in the house. No shoes in the house.
Yeah.
Right.
So
right.
Cute.
And I love how she didn't even tell she did it. Say what?
She had her shoes on though, but I guess daddy's shoes is bigger, so they bring in more dirt. So it's
more foot. Yeah. Now I love that whole thing. Yeah, Zuri's back, ladies and gentlemen. We didn't get to see her much during this bubble, but the man, they're back. Zuri is back in the internet world, and it was hilarious. That video cracked me up yesterday when I saw that for the first time. And something else that cracked me up was this poor attempt to try and make it seem like Michael Thomas is trying to weasel his way out of being with the New Orleans Saints because he's so upset with everything that happened with the suspension and whatnot. Because I saw it, and it was I don't want to say it was trending. It was like semi-trending because I'm obviously a Saints fan, so I feel like it just had to pop up on my timeline. And there's this news account that tried so hard to make it seem like Michael Thomas was getting out of New Orleans by doing the whole deleting everything that has to do with the Saints thing. But all he did was change his profile background and change his bio. But because of that, wide receiver Michael Thomas has essentially wiped his Twitter profile clean of any New Orleans indicators. Now, my eyesight seems pretty good. I mean, I just started wearing UV glasses for my editing because I'm in front of a lot of computers and stuff, so maybe my eyesight got really bad in the short space of time. But, Leo, is there any way we can zoom in on that profile picture? Because according to this, there's no signs of any New Orleans Saints anything on his profile. Is it? I'm sorry. I'm just looking close. Huh? What? Whoa!
That looks like
Saints
to me.
Whoa! I mean, it's his Pro Bowl jersey, so oh my gosh, no, he didn't put it. But the hell? Whoa! Wait! Whoa! Is that a Saints helmet? Oh my gosh! Oh no! So, oh god!
no.
Oh God, Michael Thomas is gone. Trade rumors are out. Oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. I guess he's going to the Buccaneers now too, because everybody else is joining the Buccaneers. So, Michael Thomas is gone, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. There's nothing else that we can do. The Saints, we're breaking up. As you see, Saints break up. Oh God. Stop it. All right, I could not believe what I was seeing. I didn't want to waste your time with the replies, because everybody replying to that whole thing went in on this report because they knew it was whack. Because the number one thing you see is his profile picture. The thing you see more than anything else, because when he's responding or tweeting, you see the profile picture. So stop it with that mess. And he's following everybody. Stop. Do not start that whole thing. Jackie had a point. She said what she said yesterday. Was it a decision now, a questionable decision? Yes. But that being said, we're not going to start turning to a whole thing where I'm sure Michael Thomas is thinking that I need to get the hell out of here because of one instant. Stop that. Stop it. Stop. Okay, let's move on. So for Michael Thomas, we're going to go over to the Tuesday night football game that we had yesterday, and that was the Titans and the Buffalo Bills. And to be real, I was so thrown off. Like I turned on the game and I was just like, this is real. Like this isn't a VOD, or this is like I'm not rewatching an old game, right? This is actually happened on Tuesday. So I ended up watching the game, and I think the moment that caught everybody's eye was this moment from Mr. Derrick Henry tossing none other than Josh Norman himself. That's right. The talk Josh Norman tried his best to go at Derrick Henry, and he went flying in the process, and that is one of the baddest plays. I wish he hopped over him. I just want some more disrespect to add to it, but my gosh, look at that! Look at the karate chop kick! Look at that! Oh my goodness! Because if you put that in reverse, it looked like Josh Norman is in the offensive, but no, that's not how it went. He ragdolled him to the floor. Britt Johnson, you have expressed your fandom for Derrick Henry and what he does in the league, because not a lot of people in the league give him his respect. Seeing this play, and also being that you played against your team, went up against talk Josh Norman for so many years, how great was that moment?
It was beautiful, because we all know when Josh Norman was on the Giants, it was like a crazy situation.
Redskins. Or Washington.
Washington. Reds.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
Them.
They don't
Trash organization. Yeah, them.
In Washington, and his beef with Des Bryant in particularly, and Des used to go at it like crazy, and I could not stand that man. Obviously, we know he is a great player. He's probably one of the better shutdown corners in the league, but the stuff that this man would say out of the side of his mouth all the time, I used to just want to fight him, because I used to see him twice a year, and obviously, I love Derrick Henry, and I feel like the league doesn't appreciate Derrick Henry like I appreciate him. Obviously, he is a beast, and this just shows it right here, this moment, which is why they should have. I know he did sign a long-term deal with the Titans, but they should have gave him more money. I said that
more money.
A while back, and this is why. Because this man was able to do this this guy's just like a little peasant. He's not one of the best at his position in the NFL. That's crazy.
Yeah. We've had our
now.
Yeah, we had our stints with him too, but his talking was it was warranted, because at that time that was when the Saints were in a little bit of a lull, so we weren't too good when he was on the Panthers and Super Bowl and all that stuff. You know how that story went. But other than that, I still enjoyed seeing him go flying across my TV screen. So shout out to Derrick Henry on that play, because that was amazing to see. Yes. Now I want to pivot back to the Lakers and Anthony Davis here on this next one, because the internet's wild, and I that's all I can say with this next one, because I'm seeing this and I'm looking at this from because I'm in free agency mode. I'm in free agency off-season mode right now. So I saw this innocent post that went up on IG, and I'm looking at this like, yo, AD went and got tacos from one of the best taco stands in Los Angeles. It's a wrap. There's no way he's going anywhere else. He's happy. But then, of course, leave it to the internet. They weren't looking at the caption. They were looking at faces that were made in the picture, because Anthony Davis looking looking like he was in very dire need of a taco because of how he was feeling. And the responses on Twitter and Instagram were hilarious. So I need to read you guys some of those because that was the entire story, in my opinion. Mr. Insider dropped up saying AD and Bronny spending that quality time together. I'm going to let you guys connect the dots on that one. This next dude tweeted, AD looks a little tired. Yeah, he looks tired because he's been partying. They celebrating the championship. Yeah, he's tired. Yeah. This next one. This one that said Taco's about to slap, judging by the look in his eyes. And that's what I'm saying. He was really looking for some tacos on Taco Tuesday, and by looking at his face, he was really, really looking for some tacos on Taco Tuesday. And then this last one makes way too much sense. Saying Snoop will be proud. We forget that. Yeah. So Snoop will be proud. Hope he'll see this photo, and it's just Snoop Dogg there, just enjoying himself the same way that Anthony Davis was right there. But yeah, man, I thought that was so funny because I innocently did not even see it. I'm in off-season mode. I'm like, all right, Anthony Davis is staying. He got tacos from a good spot. That's it. And the comments brought me back to the internet. And I was like, yeah. He definitely looks like he is hanging out with Bronny James. That's all I'm gonna say on that one. But we'll see. Oh boy! All right, so here we go. This one, once again, you ladies are coming on this one.
You totally missed it, Chris. You put the high eyes up while you were looking down. We got the whole Anthony Davis high face.
I missed it. Yeah. That picture saying, "Yo, AD, where you going next season?" I don't know. That's what that picture says right there. All right, so this next one. Oh boy, we got some baby mama drama. We got some deadbeat alerts going on. We got a lot of drama going on with this next one. And you know me, I'm not totally in touch when it comes to the drama behind the scenes. I do know some of the story with Dwight Howard, so please, after I read this, I'm open to you filling me in on the entire thing. But we all know about Royce Reed and Dwight Howard, the whole situation between them two for years and years and years on end. They have kids together, and we know what happened this past Sunday with Los Angeles Lakers won their championship. Everyone was going crazy, celebrating the Lakers, celebrating Dwight Howard had that moment that we shared here, feeling good from and whatnot. But Royce had to make sure that y'all remembered who the hell Dwight Howard really and truly is, because she posted this whole essay on her Instagram. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to read the entire thing. So sit back, get your popcorn, because we got to read it because you need the context. I can't just tell you what it said without using her words. So we got to read the whole thing. So, okay, buckle up. I wish you had some reading music. Oh, my glasses. I don't have them here. Anyways, all right. Eyes rough. All right, let's get it. So Royce Richie said, okay, so we're doing this. Imagine wanting and praying this moment makes not being in your kid's life worth it. She's talking about the championship. Imagine hoping this dream is everything he imagined it would be and that he would change his priorities afterwards. Then imagine your child crying, wondering why his own father is in his same city but won't call, text, visit, or send a note by pigeon. Wrong for that. Imagine your child wanting to change his name. Imagine your child feeling like he's not worth it and that he's unloved no matter how much he tries to force it. Then imagine yourself trying to be the bigger person and telling your child to love, pray, and be proud regardless and forgive. Telling him it's part of his own legacy. Making sure he makes a post congratulating him even if he didn't want to, and which little man did. Lastly, imagine having the proudest and hardest fought moment of your life be interrupted at the height of your joy by a rumor you don't know if it's true or not. That is wrong. I don't care if you saw video proof. You do not ruin something this memorable. Hell, if you all that went down during if you all that went down during quarantine, and then she continued with the caption on her post, pretty much is going on the fact that she's going to do whatever it takes to make sure that her son feels loved, and she's going to make sure that she says whatever that needs to be said, whether it's in the public eye, whether his therapist tell her that she's not supposed to do it, she's going to do what she got to do. She's going to be the lioness in the situation. And like she had mentioned in the post, Little man did. He I don't have it here, but he did post a picture congratulating his dad, and especially reading that, knowing how that might have felt. That's a big move, especially for such a young kid. His son is actually, in fact, like Jackie Ray, a huge LeBron James fan. So he didn't just put a picture of his dad; he made sure it was a picture of his dad hugging LeBron James. But yeah, the whole thing is crazy. It's the rumors and everything that's been going on. This is something that's been going on, and like she mentioned, being that the bubble was in Orlando and they are in Orlando and no sign, no nothing. I understand that there's a quarantine and whatnot. I mean, he could have easily had his son quarantine to come and join him in the bubble in so many situations, and he didn't even make a call or do anything like that. So a lot of back and forth going on with Dwight Howard. So I hope we're all able to unbuckle that. But now I need some opinions. And I need some conversation on everything that was going on. So I want to start with you, Jackie Ray. Hearing this entire thing, I don't want to say, because that's insensitive. I don't want to say, does this take away from his championship? Because this family, regardless of championships and rings and stuff like that, family is most important. And, for Dwight to be talked to about the way that he's being talked to about by her, do you feel like she was wrong to do this at this time? Do you feel like she had every right to say what she needed to say when she said it, regardless of what just happened? How did you feel about this coming out literally the day of him getting that championship, or the day after, excuse me?
So I just watched this 6-minute long video of a cougar chasing a man down the path because she thought he was threatening her babies. So you don't ever mess with Mama Bear, you know what I mean? And because she's going to protect her child at all costs. So I'm not mad at her at all for feeling this way, because it's got to be hurtful for your kid to see his dad crying, snot nose crying damn near, about this moment.
High pitched moment, yeah.
And you haven't even heard from him. So I'm not mad at her at all. I always kind of go with what my mom says in this situation. Like, you got to be careful who you procreate with, because, you do bear some of the responsibility when you end up in this situation, because Dwight has been this way. How many kids do I have now? I lost count, but it's a lot. And so he's never been the type to show that he was going to step up and be anything remotely close to what a child needs from a father, which is disappointing, especially when you look at, when you consider a picture of him hugged up with LeBron, and LeBron has not only been an amazing father to his kids, he's trying to help other kids be better. And then you have this deadbeat over here. So it's definitely, the opposite end of the spectrum. But yeah, no, I'm not mad at her at all. But I would say use this as a cautionary tale to young ladies. You gotta be careful who you procreate with, because sometimes that anchor baby don't anchor you into to the money or to the system that you think it's gonna anchor you into.
Here. Amen to that. Britt Johnson, coming to you. Do you think that I don't know if I'm asking this sarcastically, but do you think that this coming out and this post being put up and her speaking her truth, especially on one of Dwight Howard's highest moments, do you think that this is going to result in any type of change for Dwight Howard, or is it just going to be a lot of the same? What do you think is going to come from this?
I think it's going to be a lot of the same, because we all remember Royce Reed was on Basketball Wives, and the thing there, like, she wasn't allowed to bring her son on the show or whatever, because Dwight Howard put a pause on that. But she did in those moments talk about how he's never around and this, that, and the third. And he's had several of his I don't know how many kids he has, but I know he has at least 6 baby moms. He has said that. He said that he's every time, and I remember 3 years ago or so, him talking about when he was with the Houston Rockets, him talking about having all of these kids and having a come to Jesus moment where now he wanted to, re-give his life to God and be this better human being and whatever. And he didn't do it. So I don't think winning a championship, you would hope that, because not only does he have LeBron James, who is a great father to kids to see that. JaVale McGee, I don't know if you've ever seen JaVale with his daughter. The sweetest dad. Deion Waiters is good with his kid. He has so many players on his team that are actually really good dads. So you would think being put in a moment, I know LeBron James talked about having that championship team for AD and having AD see what it looks like to be a winner and a champion or whatever, and be around that kind of energy. I hope that does the same thing for Dwight Howard as far as being a father, because there are a lot of good dads on the Lakers squad. I will give them that. And he's surrounded by, he's getting good, role model, because a lot of times people are what they learned and what they were. Maybe Dwight Howard did not have a good father in his life, so he doesn't know how to be a dad. But at this time, like, you take advantage of the fact that you have a bunch of really great dads that are doing the same job that you're doing, and they're able to still be a good father as well, not be a championship person and not be able to handle everything else. They're handling both. So hopefully he can learn from this moment in that aspect, just because he sees a lot of other good dads, and hopefully he can learn. But I mean, we've seen him before kind of talk about, trying to be better and be a better dad and this, that, and the third, and he hasn't done it yet. Yeah. But I mean, anyone can change. So hopefully this is a time where LeBron and, Deion Waiters and some of these other guys kind of put him under their wing in that capacity off the court, and see if they can help him become a better father.
Yeah, we'll have to see with that. But I agree with both of you guys. I didn't have a problem with it. I know a little bit of the story, but then having her, put into detail the way she did, I'm not gonna fight against that, because being a dad myself, I say it all the time. I can never understand that feeling or that want of not wanting to be a part of your children's life. I don't get that. That's not it. I don't have that in my brain. So whenever I hear stories like that, I want the mama to speak up for sure.
Clearly shows that, like, he's been raised right. I did not. I mean, that's my dad. Like, Dwight Howard is my dad. Like, I didn't have a good dad around. So if you have a good mama like that, like Royce clearly. Even just having her son, like, support your dad, post him, whatever. Like that kid's going to be fine with or without Dwight. It's Dwight Howard that's missing out on this.
Right. Well, I don't have a response to the question I asked you, because I think it's the same. I think it's going to be a lot of the same coming from this. I don't think anything's going to change from that, which is a very sad response, but I feel like that's how it's going to be. All these years and nothing has changed. I don't think anything else is going to change from that. So enjoy the basketball part of it, Dwight Howard, but the rest of it, But let's pivot back to something more positive, and that is Mr. Snoop Dogg, who has been damn near just as active on social media when it comes to anything going on with the Lakers for years and years and years, because this dude is probably one of the top Laker fans of all time for sure. So much so that now he is finally getting some Laker ink on his arm that is also a tribute to Kobe Bryant and his passing, and especially what he's done for the team and during his fandom. And it's done by none other than Cartoon. If you guys don't know about Cartoon, he's probably one of the most popular tattoo artists, at least in the West Coast, specifically in Los Angeles. He has a dope documentary on Netflix. Check that out if you're into that kind of stuff. But yeah, Cartoon, who's tattooed damn near every player that your favorite player for sure, because these guys, whether they play for the Knicks, the Magic, whatever it is, they come over here to get tatted up by Cartoon, and Kobe Bryant was one that definitely got his tattoo from him. So yeah, so cool. The ink looks dope. Here's Snoop Dogg talking about it.
As you see, tat is done. KB on the bottom, Kobe Bryant, Larry O'Brien championship trophy with the Lakers going through the ball, gates of heaven up top, and it don't stop. Laker Nation, thank y'all Lakers, and thank you Mr. Cartoon in a real motherfucking way. We the West, and we the best. Fuck out of here.
Oh, talk to him, Snoop. Talk to him. Yeah, man. Yeah, enjoy the victory, man. I think that tattoo came out dope. Shout out to Cartoon for that, and shout out to Snoop Dogg for lighting the fire under Danny Green and never having it work. You and Jackie tried. It didn't work, but y'all still won. So it's all good. It's all good.
We had some good defensive moments.
Defense was important. I'm with you, Britt, but at the same time, like I also get the other side where Laker fans were very upset. But they got the championship. Let's not talk about that. But let's talk about something that we've seen some very stupid, outlandish, nonsensical gender reveals, especially this year. We had a whole fire breakout here in California due to a idiotic gender reveal. I feel like gender reveals are cool, but I feel like the way that people feel like they need to have a gender reveal for the gram, that's what ruined what the real magic of a gender reveal, and what is you're learning, especially for your first kid. Like you want to be surprised. Do it with your family. It's a fun time. All that being said, I'm cool with Austin Rivers. Austin Rivers had his version of a gender reveal. I would have loved to do something like this. If I could dunk, I could barely touch underneath the net, right underneath the rim. That's not true. I could touch the net. Don't try me. But Austin Rivers out here dunking a whole balloon to find out the gender of his son Oops, I just told you the gender. Find out the gender of his child. Here's the video. I just spoiled the whole damn video. All right, cool. So the only part I hate about it is look at his hands. I thought he was wearing gloves at first, and I had to watch it a second time, and his hands were not blue to start with. So I guess he got the chalk or whatever it is all over his hands.
Don't touch me.
Right. He's like, all right, fine, I'll hug you. Fine. No. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah. But yeah, shout out to them. Congratulations. I like this one. Simple, nothing crazy, no fireworks need to be. You can easy clean up, wash it down like easy. I like that. Nice and to the point. I'm with that. But yeah, shout out to them. Congratulations, Austin.
Rivers.
Yeah, Grandpa Doc. Yeah, for sure. And last but not least, we have a play that could compete with that Derrick Henry play that I showed you not too long ago. Now, Derrick Henry's play was crazy. They made Josh Norman do a whole karate move, and he beasted him. But try going for a touchdown while also bringing the opposing team's cornerback with you to get that touchdown. Don't know what I'm talking about? Check out this play right here. Yeah, look at this catch. Phenomenal catch. Boom. Got him. All right, let's go get a touchdown. You want to come with me? All right, let's get it. Come on. Let me pick you up real quick. Come on. Let's go. We get a touchdown. Let's get it.
God, that is so embarrassing. That is so embarrassing.
He stopped to pick him up. He stopped. That's all right. Okay, come on. We going for it. That is the best part of that entire play.
That dude, okay?
Oh my God!
You know what's funny is if the parents are sitting side by side, and you're like, "Did you see my kid pick up your kid? Did you see that? Like, how do you even?"
You know that Kobe gif of him walking, getting up and leaving the game with his kid. That's me at that moment. Like, oh, son, yeah, we getting out of here. Come on, family, we out of here. He can walk home. I'm not watching the rest of this game.
Oh man!
We'll get the flute, trumpet, something else.
Yeah.
Nah.
We changing school districts for real though. We in a whole nother school district next season. We are not coming back here.
I don't care if he was 5-star recruit before that play. I don't know. If I'm like a team that was going after him and gave him a scholarship, I'm taking that thing away that night. No.
That is hilarious.
See, somebody gave that other participation trophies in life to where he got to high school and thought he could still play. But honestly, I've covered high school football, and you see the most hilarious moments because it's technically like everybody makes the team. So like you get a bunch of people that don't really know how to play, and then you get people that are like, oh, this kid's going to be in the league. And it's so funny to see because you see the worst talent against really good talent. Oh,
for every time. That's great. So true. That's so true. Before we move on, I got to read Rico's comment. Rico Thomas Jr. said, if that happened to me, I'll be back home before the end of that quarter. So he's just calling the game from that point. He's just getting like, Coach, I got to go home. I don't know if I can do this game.
Y'all don't need me. I'm nothing to this team. Y'all don't need me.
I'm the water boy. I am the water boy from today on.
That is so funny.
All right. Well, thank you for that laugh, Chris. Now, Jackie, tell us what we're not going to do.
All right, guys. It's once again Jackie Ray. We're going to take this journey of what we're not going to do together because this one we kind of talked about yesterday. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but this Michael Thomas situation is starting to unfold because I said there was no way in hell this was just because of a fight. Because fights happen all the time, and it's a fight we didn't even know about, so I didn't think it shouldn't have been over a fight. But we're starting to find out that it's a little deeper than that, and this story to me makes a little bit more sense. At first, we were told it wasn't just a fight because according to Jeff Duncan of The Athletic, there was a good talking to, I don't know what that means, but a good talking to went towards Michael Thomas after I don't know, it's a good talking to. My mom used to give me a good talking to, but it probably means something different in my house. But So Michael Thomas got this good talking to, and Sean Payton wanted him to get counseling for fighting, I guess. And Michael Thomas was like, nah, that's not me. That's not what I'm going to do. So he also said that suspension was due to a pattern of troubling behavior. I'm not entirely sure what that means either, because yesterday I told you he'd been fighting since college. So this is kind of just a thing. But he also apparently barked back at a team trainer for failing to tape his ankle properly and accused one administrative staff of illegally going through his mail. So I don't know about the male part, but I'm definitely going to dismiss the barking at the trainer part because I'm coming back from an ankle injury. So obviously I'm a little gun shy about this. So if you're not taping my ankle right, which is your entire job, I'm probably going to bark at you about that. And you need to just take that heat because I'm trying to come back. And I really believe that was probably the case because Michael Thomas did take to Twitter and he said, I was never healthy. I was trying to help my team get a win and heal up during a bye. Had a setback, was so close, and I take my health serious. Now I'm the bad guy, LOL, bet. I get that. Like, look, you ain't about to be out here messing up my ankle. I think that is a fair statement. When it comes to moments like these, though, you guys, if you haven't learned by now, let me just let you know, I 95% of the time fall on the side of the player just because of what they go through, what they have to put their bodies do. I can also see Michael Thomas seeing the failings of our offense these last couple weeks and wanting to come back early. We've talked about on this show a lot about players actually coming back too early just because they want to help their team and then they end up in a whole nother health situation. So I can see that happening. So it's probably a good thing that this happened, but I can also see Sean Payton telling him he needs to get some type of help for his anger management. And then Sean Payton feeling some type of way when he kind of looked at him like, nah, I'm not doing that. But what we not going to do is draft him knowing he was like this and then sign him to $96.2 million over the next 5 years and then ask him to get counseling. You ask him to get counseling before you sign him to that deal and you make it a stipulation of getting the new deal. Maybe. This is a late thing to ask him for, in my opinion. But Chris, what are your thoughts on this whole good talking to and the counseling that Mike Thomas is supposed to be getting right
now? To be honest, I don't really have a problem with it. I think, like it said in the because I saw this too. You know, it was a series of events that happened. Like I get it. Ask them, but I don't think. I also think that, like we said, like you were saying, you were looking for video and stuff like that. We don't know the entire story. We don't know what that's coming from. We don't know if it was a casual conversation like, yo, maybe you should check this out. It wasn't like maybe like you need to go and get counseling or else you're not going to play anymore. It might not have been a situation like that. So I that's my thing. And it's hard for me to completely go in on Sean Payton. I do agree now. Yes, like you said yesterday, that was a bit over the top to suspend, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's missing, but of course the main story is the main story, and I think that's what is going to be sent out to us, and it's going to make it look like Michael Thomas is not being treated right, or he's the bad guy, and I think that's what's going to be seen by fans and whatnot.
Yeah, he also tweeted that he doesn't care what we think about these rumors. So I'm with him on that one. Like you can't fight every single rumor that comes out. So we talked about that yesterday. Yeah, this is what he says. He said, think what you want. I ain't trying to clear up no rumors. So I'm with him on that. I mean, we just think what we think. We know that more details are probably going to be trickling out about this, but I'm just going to say, get healthy, get ready to play, right. And then we talk about what we talk about. That's not your problem. But now Let's get back to the Lakers because, again, I'm going to be riding this train for a long, long time, so y'all should probably get used to it. But I'm not really ready to make any bold predictions. We talked about that yesterday. There's a lot that's still pending. AD's contract still pending. Yes, I think he's going to stay. I think he'd be crazy to leave. But it's still a thing. I've been calling everybody I can think of. I can't find anybody who will pick up Danny Green's $15 million, so we still got to figure that out. Avery Bradley, KCP, JaVale McGee, Kyle Kuzma's rookie deal is coming up. Rajon, I think, is up. And I know Alex is coming up in 2021. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things that could possibly happen with the Lakers before I start making any predictions. I did say from day one that I thought LeBron was going to bring at least 2 rings to LA, and people called me crazy for that. So if you think I'm crazy, I really can't wait to hear what y'all think about 5-time NBA champion Michael Cooper, because he recently joined Clutch Point's Battle for LA podcast, and he said, quote, I do believe this, and I'm going to make a bold prediction. When the Lakers win a championship now, they'll win 3 in a row. I see that y'all going to have some replacements, see people coming in. There's going to be player and personnel moves. We agree on the need for some moves, but I've said from day one, I'm not a huge Frank Vogel fan, but I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I don't know if I necessarily agree on the personnel moves. But Michael Cooper seems to think that the days of small ball are slowing down, because he also said, look at what the Lakers did to the Denver Nuggets. You got to credit that team with what they've done from as far as coming back versus Utah 3-1, beating the Clippers 3-1, and then holding that hole against the Lakers. What wore them down was the Laker height, and I think that's what's going to happen. When teams win championships, everybody's going to look at the top and say, what we do, we have to do to beat them. What do we have to do to beat them? And I'm not going to argue that either, because we've talked about it before, that's exactly why the Warriors got KD. So I think it's definitely a possibility, but a three-peat when KD and Kyrie's still out, Klay's coming back, Steph's coming back. We know that there's going to be a lot. The Lakers aren't the only ones with a lot of contracts expiring, so there's going to be a lot of movement. We've all said that what would Miami look like if Jimmy Buckets gets a star big, and what does that mean? And if that happens, what does that mean for the Lakers going forward? But at the same time, I do think that because the last people, like I said earlier, would do this was Kobe and Shaq. So wouldn't it be dope if they continued this tribute to Kobe by doing this? So Devin, I'm going to ask you, do you think that this is crazy, or do you think that the Lakers could possibly ride this wave, get 2 more wins to honor Kobe? Or do you think the three-peat is very, very hard, like we've talked about several times, and you think it's way too soon to make that prediction?
Well, okay, I feel like I'm torn because I want to sit here and be like, yes, the Lakers can do it. But I think that I feel it's just too soon to even make those kinds of predictions. And yeah, exactly like we were talking about at the top of this show, getting to the finals in itself is such a challenge. So a three-peat, I mean, that doesn't happen very often. I'd like to believe that the Lakers can do it, but with, AD's contract expiring, we don't even know if he's going to be with us next year. LeBron at 35 years old, he's going to be only getting older. I don't know. I mean, it seems unlikely, and I hate saying that, but I do, like I said, want to be the optimist and think that they might be able to do it. I think that that's being a little bit too hopeful.
Wow, no, I think LeBron is like fine wine. I think he gets better with time. So I think he's going to at least do for LA what he did in Miami. I think we're going to get 2, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not ready to go ahead and jump on that three-peat train. But as soon as it gets close, I'll jump on it then. But that's all for what we not going to do. Like after we went 2, I'll be like, yeah, three-peat. But right now, that's all I got. So it is time for Britt's Takes.
Britt's Takes.
All right, we are going to switch over to the other team in LA, the Clippers, because there was I'm just going to call it a fake rumor because it's not even really a rumor yet. It's not even, it's kind of fake news. This is weird. But apparently there is, in the skies of whatever, somebody has rumbled up and decided that we could possibly see a trade of Bradley Beal to the Clippers, and if that makes sense. So, as a Clippers fan, I'm a Clippers fan. I'm a fan of the team. To know the difference, Jackie is a LeBron fan. If LeBron leaves the Lakers, Jackie will not be a Lakers fan anymore. Me, I'm a Clippers fan. I don't have my favorite player is actually Damian Lillard, who has never worn a Clippers jersey, but he's my favorite player. I can be okay with having some of my favorite players not play on my personal team. So I'm going to be a Clippers fan regardless of who is on the roster. And yes, I do have moments where I miss like Blake Griffin and DJ and like CP3 and like that whole crew and stuff like that. But I'm a Clippers fan. I want whoever is going to be the best group of people to help us win a championship on the team. Like I'm not tied to any players. There hasn't been a player that has played for the Clippers for forever to where it's like, oh, that person has to stay on the team. Like Kobe, for instance, with the Lakers. He played on the Lakers his entire career. Even though there was that whole little thing about him wanting to get traded for a while, he never did get traded. He stayed with the Lakers his whole 20-year career. There's nobody like that on the Clippers. There's nobody that has been playing for the Clippers for the whole entire time that I really care about. So according to this like fake little trade situation, which was actually brought up by a host on Locked On Wizards podcast. So basically they said that Bradley Beal would come to the Los Angeles Clippers in exchange for Paul George and Lou Williams. So we would get rid of Paul George and Lou Williams in order to get Bradley Beal. Does anyone know about basketball sports or anything like that? Like, just in this moment right now, if you're doing a straight up trade for Bradley Beal and Paul George, I could see that thing that we could talk about. Bradley Beal is 27 years old. Paul George is 30. Bradley Beal had 30.5 points this season, 4.2 rebounds, 6.1 assists. Paul George had 21.5 points, 5.7 boards, 3.9 assists. So that's something, okay, we could do a trade. They're not that difference in age to where I would be like, okay, this is going to be the new guy that's going to lead our franchise and blah, blah, blah. No. Bradley Beal's stats, mind you, were really good this season. Shooting mostly, though. And his team, we talked about it a million times over and over again. He would score 40, 50 points. His team would still lose. The only reason why Bradley Beal was able to score that much and was able to do as much as he did this season, it's called stat padding here. So he literally was the only guy on the team that was able to do anything. So everybody's giving him the ball and he's doing everything and he's the guy making shots because everybody on the team is trash. If he came to the Clippers, his numbers would not look the same because guess what? We have other guys on the team. Number one being Kawhi Leonard, who can literally, he's actually supposed to be the star of the team. And then everybody else is, supposed to be made around him. The game is supposed to be built around Kawhi Leonard, which is why we paid to get Kawhi, because it is supposed to be around Kawhi Leonard. So Bradley Beal coming into the situation, his stats will be more normal to what they usually are, which is him averaging 21 points a game. Now, you look at that, and it's funny, Jackie, it was like we were right here because Jackie just talked about the small ball going away. Bradley Beal is 6'3". Paul George is 6'8". Paul George is also one of the better two-way players in the game. He does not just offer shooting for us. He offers great defense as well. He is tall. That makes differences in our team. Why in the world would the Clippers get rid of Paul George in order to get Bradley Beal? And you guys want to talk about well, Bradley Beal wasn't in the playoffs this year, so we don't know how he would have been in the playoffs this year, because the Washington Wizards are terrible. So at least Paul George was able to make a playoff run for the Clippers and make it to the playoffs. And I don't see trading Paul George and Lou Williams, who is in and of itself one of the better shooters, especially coming off the bench. The Clippers bench of Trez and Lou Will were the highest scoring bench in the league this season. So you're telling me, which Trez is a free agent. Trez is a free agent now. So who knows if he's going to sign with the Clippers or somebody else. So we're going to lose 1 and 2, both of our 6 men, in order to just get Bradley Beal. That makes no sense at all. I know in the comments you guys were talking about it earlier, asking me this question. It does not make sense for us to do this. It doesn't make sense really for anybody to do this. I think the Wizards podcast person said this because, of course, why not get Paul George and Lou Williams just in exchange for Bradley Beal? But it just doesn't make sense. We would never do something like this. At least I hope we wouldn't. Obviously, we're still waiting. Our number one priority is getting a coach. And then once we get a coach, our coach will make decisions as far as what happens. But just the fact that, as Jackie had mentioned earlier, the small ball is going away. I would love to continue to keep our 6'8" guy that can also shoot and also play defense. Shooters as Bradley Beal, I'm sorry, they're just a dime a dozen. Like, we have shooters coming off the bench that can have in a regular situation, because Bradley Beal only had this season because he was the only person to go to on that team. But on a team that is stacked, or a team that has other players, and because you don't want just one guy that can do something, because guess what? As we all know, everybody has an off night. Bradley Beal has an off night, and we don't have anybody else that can shoot a ball. Like, that doesn't make sense, which is why the Washington Wizards did not do very well. The Clippers are not going to rely on giving away one of our best shooters and a 6-man him as both, obviously. And then one of our big guys, as well as he's also able to shoot and also able to play defense. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. Like, it's the most ridiculous rumor I've ever heard of. It's not even, I don't even know if it's like a real rumor. I don't think it is, because I just feel like this person with the Wizards just decided to come up with it just because they thought, like, you know, it'd be cool if we could get like Clay and Steph and LeBron and Kevin Durant and all these people on the same team, you know, something that would never happen. This is not going to happen. So if you're a Clippers fan, don't worry. I could see if it was just a straight up Paul George and Bradley Beal trade, that could potentially happen. I wouldn't want that to happen just because of, number one, just the height difference. And I just think Bradley Beal just was effective this year as a player and was a stat patter this season because they didn't have anybody else on the Washington Wizards. And he was just able to do everything on that team because they didn't have nobody else that could do anything on the squad. So I think if he's in any situation, even if he goes to Miami, which I do think is a good fit for him, or like yesterday I was talking about him potentially going to the Lakers or whatever the case is as well. Like, I think other options are good for him. I don't think the Clippers make sense if we're giving up Paul George and Lou Will for it. It just doesn't make sense. Yes, there are other pieces to the puzzle that we could talk about, negotiate, but it's not going to be Paul George and Lou Will. That just doesn't make sense for our franchise to do something like that. But the only thing I do like about this, because like I said at the beginning of this, Britt's take today, I don't care who's on my team as long as we're winning. So because yesterday, if you happen to watch Britt's take yesterday, I did a fun fact that once players leave the Washington Wizards, they go on to another team and end up winning a championship with another team. So that is the only reason why I would accept Bradley Beal joining my Clippers, because of the simple fact of me being superstitious and knowing that the last 4 NBA champions had somebody from the Washington Wizards on their squad. So bring on Bradley Beal, but I'm not giving up Lou and Paul George to do that. So that's Britt's take for today. I know we're over time, so I don't have any questions, but I just don't think this is going to happen. But again, I'll take anybody that's going to give us a championship, even if it is superstitious.
All right, you guys. You know what? I'm a very superstitious person, Britt. So, hey, it could happen. I'm with you on that one. But you guys, let's wrap up the show for the day. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Wash your hands, wear a mask, and we'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Go Dodgers! We need this tonight, guys. Dodger Nation.